we recently had Nabil Aziz on the show.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he left us with is, why has Chris Orzi not been on here? He should be on here. He should be
We
on
fixed it.
here. If there are any copywriters, goated email marketers that have not been on this show as of yet, it is Chris Orzi. We had to fix that. And I will say, when Nabil said it, we actually already had him scheduled, which was kind of serendipitous. But we need to bring the man himself inside of the show. Everyone, welcome Chris Orzechowski of Orzi Media. Chris, get in here. Get in here, Chris. There he is.
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Welcome to the show, brother. We appreciate you making the time and joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Super pumped to be here.
Well, man, we are glad to have you here. You know, before I really want you to talk about this book, Chris, because I have been seeing it going around. The moat. I've been seeing it going around.
Oh.
You got there. It is. Kaboom!
I got one. I bought one.
I've been seeing this thing going around, but before you get here, man, you've got to give us some of your origin story and lore, brother. I have heard that you were a part of like what is like top 20 Kickstarter that has like ever existed or something on Kickstarter. I mean, give people some understanding for how you got to where you are, you know, copywriting, running Orzi Media, etc. Man, give us some origin story on you, Chris.
Yeah, so I used to be a public school special ed teacher, and I would bounce at like DJs in Belmar. Have you guys ever been there?
Seriously?
In the summer, yeah. And so I wrestled. I want to be like a wrestling coach. I didn't like want to do anything, you know. So like in college, everyone's like, "Oh, what are you going to be after college?" I was like, "I don't want to do anything." And that was the entrepreneurship, where it's like, oh, you could actually, like, the goal is to do nothing. The goal is to build a business that other people operate that, you know, that pays you well, and you do less and less. So kind of tumbled down the rabbit hole, discovered copywriting. And then when I was a school teacher, actually that the Philippe Loretti Kickstarter campaign that you referred to, there was, at that time, it was the 18th biggest. We did like 5.2 million in 30 days. And then we did like another seven figures. Yeah, we did like another 7 figures in upsells on that campaign. So I don't remember the exact figure, but it was a lot. It was pretty cool. Because I was still teaching at that time, and like I was like going to school. And like, you know, I did that nights and weekends, and, you know, little did my coworkers know, I just pulled off this like massive win. And then we did another campaign the following year. We launched a new collection that was like 4.4 million. Now keep in mind, these are like 2016, 2017 dollars. So really it's probably, you know, 80% higher with inflation. Like if you put it in today's gosh. So yeah, we sold a lot of watches, and it was crazy. Like we had people buying 15 watches at a time. Like it was nuts. And I was like, you know, physical products are pretty cool. Like, you know, because I had clients like John Assaraf, Jeff Walker, and those are all like, you know, digital products, coaching programs. And like, it's really hard to sell something intangible. It's like, hey, do you want to pay me $2,000, $5,000, and like you're gonna come to video calls, and I'm gonna talk to you, and like that's really hard to do. And then I started selling physical products, and I was like, this is easy. This is like shooting fish in the barrel, man. Like,
there we go.
It's like, do you see this thing? Do you want this thing? And then like you just make it sexy, and then people buy, right? And then so started working with a lot of brands. One of the brands I'm best known for is Carnivore Snacks, and I started working with them. Yeah, so I started working with them when they were pre-revenue. I remember Mark was on my email list, and he was like, hey, dude, because I was like, yeah, I'm trying out the carnivore diet. I wrote an email, and he's like, dude, you got to check out this product I'm launching. And he showed it to me, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, this is a winner. I said, this one's a winner. I said, they didn't have it like any money. Like all the money was going towards, you know, building the pre-launch list and the branding and getting all the sites set up. And I said, I will do this on Spec. That's how confident I am that this is going to work. And not only did I do the project on Spec, I took money out of my own pocket to hire another writer on my team. There's a lot of shit we got to do. I was like, you're going to help me out. I'm going to pay you out of my own pocket, and I'm going to recoup everything if and when this thing is successful. Like I was that confident. And now, you know, multi-8-figure brand, been working with them ever since. I write their emails and SMS, and yeah, so pretty
little cool mic stuff. Drop. Little mic drop on us there. Like that's calling your shot, brother. Yeah. I mean, what made you so confident on that, Chris? Because I'm just saying, you know, when people see like a better beef stick, you know, they may not make the same bet that you did. What made you so confident?
I don't know, man. I mean, part of it's gut feeling, you know, like, which you can't really like quantify or dissect, but it was a little bit of gut feeling. It was also like the product just looked visually like the way, you know, when you look at it, you're like, it's like a ribeye, right? It's like a ribeye in your pocket. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like crazy. And then I tried it, and once I tried it, I was like, okay, this is like legit. Like, no one's gonna be able to not eat this. Like, no one's gonna not enjoy this product when they get it. So, and also like carnivore. If you look at like market trends, like carnivore and paleo, where like paleo was popular, carnivore was like just starting to kind of get popular, and I was like, okay, there's like a tsunami coming. And so I think we hit it at the right time, and it's definitely a premium product. It's more, but like you eat those things, and like you're full for hours. You know what I mean? So like there's so many benefits. I was like, there's no way this is not going to do well, and it's done well. And that's it's been there. Mark's like the best. I mean, I tell Mark all the time, like, I wish I could clone you 1,000 times. Like my life would be very easy if that was the case. Client.
That's hilarious, man.
Wow. You talk a little bit about that process of coming up with the brand voice for something like a Carnivore Snacks. I mean, it's so synonymous with the brand now, where and you receive one of those emails, you're like, this is a Carnivore Snacks email. Like, it's so obvious, the one of one. Can you talk about that process?
Yeah, well, like most products are boring, you know what I mean? Like, especially nowadays, everyone's just like, hey, I'm just going to rip an email on ChatGPT and like, whatever, you can make money doing that. That's fine. Like, no shame in your game if that's what you like to do. But like the way I always view physical products is that like someone else is going to eventually undercut you. Someone else can make something similar. You know what I mean? Like, it's very difficult. So like, what do you have? You have brand, right? Like, that's what you have to build. And that's like kind of one of the concepts I was talking about in the mode. It's like all of that mystique and the energy and the voice and the feeling that you get, like that has to kind of be layered in. So like with this product, we wanted to be different, we wanted to be unique. I mean, I remember with Macho Man, like the Slim Jim ads back in the day, like it was very, like in your face, right? It was very like a little bit like masculine, right? It was like definitely different than like a lot of other types of products that are more like soft or neutral or whatever. So I was like, it's got to stand out. It's got to be funny. And I got to give credit to Mark, because like Mark will literally just let me write whatever I want. And like, I could probably count on one hand in 6 years how many times he's had to like walk me back. And he's like, okay, this is like a little over the line. Like, all right. But like, there's some stuff I write, I'm like, wow, he's gonna let me run that, and like he does, and our people love it, because it's not like everyone wants to just play things so safe. They're like, ooh, well, we might offend like one person out of 10 million, or we might say something that is, like people won't get the sense of humor. Like, we'll use movie references, like we'll do, all these different kind of things that kind of tap into a bit of the cultural zeitgeist. Like I'm like always on Twitter. I have an addiction. I have a problem. So like, I'm always like, what's in the meme sphere? Like, what's going on? What movies are people talking about? Like, what things are popular? We try to like layer some of that in. But yeah, it's like, number one, we just try to make it fun. We try to make it funny. We try to make it unique. And like, it's very hard for people to copy that. Like, not a lot of like your run-of-the-mill email agency is not going to be able to come in and copy the voice. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. And also because like I've been writing it for 6 years, so it's like I kind of have, again, it's a rare situation, but like I've been able to kind of craft it the way that I want it ever since. And Mark and the whole team, they've been great, and be like, yeah, like go crazy, have fun, like do stuff that's out of the box. Like, yes, you could write about the product all the time, but like you could write emails about the product, or you could write emails about the brand, about the feeling, about who you are, right? It's like, what's the 1 Sense Persuasion course? It's like, if people do anything for someone who throws rocks at common enemies, allays their fears, encourages their dreams, and I forget the other two, but whatever those 5 are, like we try to like lace those things into the emails to make it bigger than the product.
Whatever
slid that in there.
That just
that in there at the end.
Well, that's not mine. That's Blair Warren, I think, is the guy's name. It's a great book. But yeah, like,
I think
I would read that book.
That one.
I think I might have included that in the note, but I might have referenced this book. But yeah, I mean, like a lot of people just write about the product and the features, and it's like, well, there's the features, and there's the benefit of the features, and then there's the dimensionalized benefit. And the dimensionalized benefit is like, how is your life different once you get the product? Like, we wrote this email for Carnivore Snacks about like, hey, we want parents to buy these to put in their kid's lunchbox. And it's like, you could say, hey, these make a tasty treat for your kid, and they'll grow up to be healthy, and like, that's cool. And we wrote an email that was like, how to make sure your kid is the coolest kid at the lunch table, right? So like, that's the dimensionalized benefit. It's huge. Not like, hey, there's this healthy food, and then your kid will like it, enjoy it. Like, that's cool, but that's very surface level. It's like, who do you become once you've experienced the benefits of the product? So what is the transformation? What is the desired end state? And like, most people don't go to that third level, and that's why their copy sucks, and that's why it's flat, and that's why it's boring. Like, every single person is buying a product for some kind of transformation, and 90%, 99% even of brands out there, they stop way before that. They never take that jump to the next step. And the brands that do the best, you'll start to see this. It's kind of like you'll start to see the code through the matrix. The brands that do really well, they sell the transformation. Why are they buying this thing? They're buying this thing, jobs to be done framework, right? If you want to use some Harvard Business School bullshit, right? Like jobs to be done. They're hiring the product to perform a job and achieve something in their life. You need to sell outcomes, right? People buy products for outcomes. They don't buy the product because it looks cool or it has this functionality. They tell themselves that. That's the rational reason that they give themselves, but they buy because they want to transform.
Wow.
You know, Chris, I feel like you should do this for a living, brother. Because when you talk, you've got
write a book about it.
You've got frameworks on the inside. There's probably like a book you can put together.
There might be one. Yeah.
Tell me this, Chris. I would say when it comes to email marketing, especially, and you've laid out some incredible frameworks there that I heartily believe in. At the end of the day, you really have to sell transformation, the end state, the dream, wherever people are wanting to go. And you're the guide along the way. You're helping them get there, etc. But what I will say is that a lot of times when it comes to hands on keyboard, I think, people default to that kind of what I would describe as boring millennial malaise, like, let's not offend anybody. Let me just get the job done, get something. And it just kind of melds into the sea of sameness. And what's helpful about copywriting is when you can stand out, grab someone's attention, bring them into the brand where you want to get them, etc. But a lot of times what I feel like is that I'm really just giving them me. At the end of the day, I mean, it's going to be me in some kind of form. I'll try to make me different, but at the end of the day, I'm just going to give them me. Is basically what's going to end up happening. I've heard that you have this thought about method acting when it comes to email, copy, brands, etc. That can help the person writing that copy kind of transform and get into character, so to speak. Is that true? If it is, I'd love to hear you talk about it, because I've never heard about this before.
I think like a lot of copywriters have asked me this question, like, how do you market research? And I'm like, you go buy the product. That's what you do. Because when you go and buy the product, you're kind of like acting like a Daniel Day-Lewis method actor. Like he goes out in the woods and chops wood for 6 months to get into his mental property, and that's fine. Right, back like Abe Lincoln or whatever, right? Or he goes down to Texas and looks at oil rigs before he films There Will Be Blood, right? And that's cool, and that absolutely works for that. But how do you do that as a marketer? It's like, well, you got to buy your product. And I remember when I was working with Filippo already, I'm not a watch guy. I don't wear watches. I mean, I don't know. People like him. That's cool. I just don't. Right? It's cool. I was like, why do people buy watches? What are the reasons? And I said, well, maybe I should go buy one and be like, when I'm about to pull out my credit card, what are the thoughts running through my head? What becomes important when the credit card's about to get swiped? And that's when you start to see, what are the objections? What are the things I care about? What are the questions I should be asking? What are the things I need to know before I actually make this purchase? So I didn't buy a watch. I bought a watch for my wife. And it was great because it was like, you spent like $2,000 on this watch. And I was like, okay, it's not back at the time I was still teaching at this time. Right. So I was like, okay,
significant.
It's like one paycheck,
I
knew that it was going to help me with the Filippo Already project. Because I was like, I'll do it. And again, most copywriters wouldn't do that. They don't have the balls to do that. They're like, but again, call your shot before you sink it. Right. So if you have not, or you're not familiar with the product, you're thinking about launching something new, and you kind of have questions about it, you could talk to users, but everyone's like, go read Amazon reviews. I'm like, that's so weak. You actually have to go either talk to people who use it. I was working with this crochet company back in, I don't know, it must have been 2015. I don't crochet, right? I don't do it. I don't have zero frame of reference, but I got hired for this project, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. So the woman who was a paraprofessional in my class, she loved crochet. So I showed her the hooks, and I was like, what do you like about this? Why is this important? She's like, oh, we see the shape. Because of the shape of it, your wrist is not going to cramp. I'm like, oh, duh. Okay. Right. So that's what you have to do. That's the kind of market research that you have to do. You have to talk to people. You have to get away from the computer screen and talk to people, or go become the customer yourself. If you become the customer yourself, with cow shares, I sell a lot of cattle, right? When I can buy meat from the supermarket, or I can go to a farmer's market and I could talk to the rancher there and be like, what's important here? What are the questions I need to ask? I can go buy a cow share and be like, okay, what questions are coming up in my mind? What are the things that are important to me as I'm going through this buying process? And that is what makes you a better marketer. But people don't do that shit because they're lazy.
I'm kind of blown away by how many different things you have worked with. I mean, categories and such. I've never even heard of cow shares, but I think that's a great point.
I've sold a lot of cows. If you ever go online, if you go on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and you see people, have you ever seen people giving away a free freezer with a cow share?
Oh yeah.
I was the one who first took that to Facebook. I'm the guy who made that happen, right? So I started doing that, and because people were doing there was like a couple small farms who were doing it as like a back end promotion, like, oh, we'll do this like one weekend to the people on our email list. I said, fuck that. This is a front end offer. And all the people in the cattle industry, the regenerative cattle ranching industry, these small farms, these ranches, they were selling a la carte stuff. They're selling subscription boxes. They're trying to compete with Mike from Butcher Box. I'm like, you're not going to beat Mike. $600 million a year. Like, you're not going to win that battle, right? But what you can win is the cow share battle. You could sell a whole cow for $7,000, and you could sell it to cold people on Facebook. What you have to do is you have to take the number one objection and turn it into the number one reason to buy. What is the number one objection that people have about buying 400 to 500 pounds of meat? I got nowhere to put it. I said, guess what? Now you do, because we're going to give you a free freezer. We're going to fill it with beef, and we're going to send it to you. And we build that in. What happens is the cost of acquisition does not scale with the cost of the product, right? So just because you're selling a $7,000 cow share doesn't mean it's going to cost $6,000 in ads. I recognize this. No one else recognized this. And I said, we're going to run this motherfucker as a front-end campaign, and we scaled the shit out of it. And now every single farm is using it.
Let's go.
Chris,
that fires me up. That fires me up. You got to talk to me, Chris. You got to talk to me about, I need to know who is doing it right. Somebody outside of your portfolio that you love who is doing it right with copy and brand voice right now. Also, on the flip side of that, not who's doing it wrong, but someone you would absolutely love and is just poised for an absolute explosion if they were to come into your portfolio, where you're seeing them from afar and you're like, God, if they could just come in my portfolio, I would basically transfer overnight.
Yeah, the second one I got to think about. I mean, there's a few that are doing one brand that I love is Minerals. They sell minerals. They're so fun. I talked to one of their founders, and I was like, I don't know what you guys are doing over there, but it's the funniest shit I've ever seen. They make these like blatantly AI videos. Minerals, yeah. They're very patriotic, very red meat. They're just awesome, and they're offensive to some people. I think they're funny as hell. They do an amazing job, and I look at their stuff and I'm like, sometimes people probably look at my stuff, they look at the Carnivore Snacks, like, I wish I could be funny like that guy. I'm looking at these guys, I'm like, I wish I could be funny like these guys. So there's always levels, there's always a bigger fish. They do a good job. Greco Gum does a great job with their emails. Sports Drink, I think, does a funny job. They're like completely unhinged. They're big
so
on
unhinged.
They're so unhinged, and they just lean all the way in and just go for it. And I think it's funny as hell. There's a few different, there's definitely more. There's a bunch I have saved in my folder. There's the three that come top of mind. But the Minerals ones are really funny. And then in terms of other brands who would come in, I don't know. I guess it's hard for me to say off the top of my head. There's I really don't know. I'm kind of drawing a blank there. I would say I would start by saying everyone who's currently in my pipeline who hasn't converted, and then beyond anyone who reads my tweets and hasn't reached out yet, get on it. But yeah, beyond that, there's a lot though. I just like the brands who are not afraid to just let it fly, because again, I think that's what your mode is. It's the feeling that people get. It's the reason they have to keep coming back to buy from you, because there's always someone who's selling what you sell for cheaper, and they're selling it more conveniently as well. Every single product that does well in DTC Twitter that we see, there's a different brand like that in Target, in Walmart, and on Amazon. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of competitors selling sometimes the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So it's how do you win? That's how you win.
It's so interesting.
I can tell, Chris, you are a man of words. The way that you stack these lines. Bro,
value.
You have been doing this for some time, my friend.
Had a little bit of practice.
Just a little bit of practice. Well, firstly, who should come to me? Everyone in my pipeline who has not currently converted. Number two, everyone who reads my tweets and has yet to schedule a call with me. I will say this. This is a great point, and I feel like it's one of the foundational pieces of e-commerce and direct-to-consumer. Basically, everything that everybody's selling, it already exists, and it has existed forever. And so there has to be a compelling reason why somebody will come to your website and buy your thing for probably more money than they could get it down the street at Walmart.
Yeah.
And there has to be a reason, you know, and whether it's packaging, it's words, it's, you know, specifically fit for this category. It's true. It's true. And so why not let it fly and make an impact and grab people's attention? You know, when you mentioned minerals, I'd never heard of them. But I went to the website, I went to the homepage. I don't even know what they are, but I'm sold. Why? Because they got some old-timey Wild West video playing in the background. I don't even know what they do, but I'm sold, you know? I mean, they fit me. They fit me. So I think there's a whole lot to this, Chris.
There is. It's a deep ocean of possibilities, but you just gotta have fun with it. You got to build something cool. You know, like that's at the end of the day, that's what we're all trying to do. You just got to build something noticeable. Like, you know, back in the day, if you were the first to market, you know, there's brands, you know, like SC Johnson Floor Wax, like they were the first people to like make that, and they're one of the biggest companies in the world now. And like, you know, if you're going to start a floor wax company now, you got to be different, right? Like you got to have some clear advantage. You got to have some voice. You got to have something that's like way different to pull people away from those legacy players. So, but legacy players get disrupted all the time, and they get disrupted by brands who are doing fun, exciting new things. So like you have to do something fun, exciting, and new. And like at the end of the day, if you're doing that and you're taking care of your people and you're just optimizing the shit out of everything in your funnel and you're giving people good experience, like they'll keep coming back and you'll gain market share.
Chris, do you have an exercise where, you know, I am boring brand founder. I'm afraid to take risks. I am, you know, so afraid. I just want to do the status quo. Do you have any exercises to kind of break me out of my shell to like actually take some shots on goal here to be a little bit more adventurous? Because all I've done is basically the status quo for the first 4 years of the business, and that's all I got.
What you're going to do is you're going to look at like TV and movies and pick a character, or you can pick like a combination of like maybe 2 or even 3 characters and be like, all right, how would this person, like, what would they say? What would their voice be like? Right. Like, so you could be Walter White from Breaking Bad. You could be Don Draper from Mad Men. You could be, you know, I don't know, what are other TV shows? You could be anyone. You could be Tony Soprano, right? Like you could be anyone. Like, how would that person, what would they say? How would they say? It doesn't mean you have to use like exact lines, but like, that's what I try to think about whenever I'm working with a brand. I'm like, okay, which character would this brand be like, right? And you think about like the history of advertising, like spokespeople or characters have been, you know, cereal, like the whole cereal industry is built on characters, right? Like, so everyone kind of does this. The biggest brands already do this. It's like, who would that person be? And it could be a serious person. It could be Colin Robinson from What We Do in the Shadows, the energy vampire. I don't know if you guys have seen that show, but great guy. I think he's funny. He's so like monotone and like boring, like delivery, but he's so freaking funny just because of the dynamic of his character. So like, there's a lot of different ways to do it, but I think that might not solve it, but that's a good place to start if you take yourself to that exercise. Yeah.
It's a great place to start.
Also, Chris, What We Do in the Shadows reference. Absolutely appreciate that.
Very, very underrated show. Very underrated.
Extremely underrated show. Appreciate that lore. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Chris, tell everybody who doesn't already follow you, hear from you, sign up for your emails, get all of the things. They're not already in your pipeline. But tell everybody where to find you, where to follow you, where to hear from you regularly, and how to get to know you, talk with you if they want to work with you, etc. Give us the whole list, man.
Yeah, go to orze.co. That's my main website, and you can sign up for my list there. I give away a free issue of my $100 a month print newsletter that I normally send out in the mail. You get a free copy. Yeah, I've been doing that for over 6 years now, so 75 issues so far. So you get a free issue there. Follow me on Twitter at Chris Orze, obviously, and then go to Amazon, buy this book, buy 10 copies, buy one for your mom. Mother's Day's coming up. Buy grandmother this book, buy your wife this book, buy every person you know. Buy them a copy of this book. Buy 25. Buy 100 copies, right?
Let's go.
It's good. It's good. It's a good thing to do. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's what
I love it, man. Brother, I'm subscribed, and I think it's incredible. You got to print newsletter that you send out, man. That's a great idea.
Look at this, bro. Here, look at this.
You know how much this thing.
You know how much? This is not even all of them. Look at this.
Ooh,
I got content, bro. I got content for days, man, for years.
Wow.
I'm
glad that we have finally connected. Chris, where are you, man? Where do you live in the world?
You couldn't tell by my accent. I'm in New Jersey.
I mean, you gotta be up there. You gotta be up there. I was, when you said Tony Soprano, I was thinking, I think Tony is Chris's kind of guy, man. I think
my spirit animal. Yeah.
I think they had a little gabagool there together at some point. Well, then, hey, we love what you're doing, and you got bars for days, and we need to have you back. We appreciate you making the time and joining us, brother. And we're going to be following along, and we don't want to be boring. We're going to be like you.
That's right. Thanks, guys.